It's time for Mr. Fundamental!
Presented by no one.
We're around 10 games in the 2021 season, and a blockbuster move has already happened. It didn't seem like Harden was going to be in Houston past his contract anyways, but his recent actions has forced the Rockets' hands. We're going to dive deep into this trade from each team's perspective, so let's have a look at the Nets first. Here are what they sent out to get James Harden. This was a necessary move for them, since they're just 6-6 when the trade happened. A 50% record isn't bad, but it's not where they want to be with their championship aspirations. Looking at the details of the outgoing picks, these might not be as valuable as we think. Kyrie's contract runs through the 2023 season, while KD has a player option for that year. That means it's likely the 21 and 23 pick swap won't be exercised, and the pick in 22 will be a late first rounder. The risk comes after that, but the Nets owners and management has been clear about chasing a championship, and this trade gives them a 2 to 3 year window to do so. If they do win one, those picks beyond 2024 might be worth the cost from the owner's perspective. If they could re-sign one or two of their stars, these picks won't be that significant either. I thought the Nets would have to give up almost all of their trade assets to get Harden, like their picks, and all but one of LeVert, Dinwiddie, Allen, Harris, and Prince. They actually kept 2 of them, and I think that's a win. The Nets are suddenly lacking consistent backcourt production with a season-ending injury to Dinwiddie and the disappearance of Kyrie. Instead of relying on inconsistent production from LeVert and Prince, they replaced them with Harden. We all know what Harden can do on the offense, but the fit is actually pretty interesting on the defensive end. The Nets have been going small a lot and leaned on that switch-heavy scheme, but the dip in their recent play also came on the defensive end. Harden fits well in that switching system, but could help with their defensive rebounding as well. Add in how Harden is an amazing offensive player, the Nets could round out their small ball lineups with defensive-minded players like Bruce Brown. Now things get a bit blurry anticipating Kyrie's return. All of their stars can play together, but there's just one ball to share. Both Kyrie and Harden's track record shows that they want things to revolve around them, not just on the court, but off the court as well. Harden's recent comments that reinforced his trade desire was that the Rockets can't beat the Lakers in a 7-game series. Yes, that's a shot at the Rockets roster, but it could also mean he's not good enough to carry his team. Could this be a sign that he's willing to take a back seat? I doubt it, but it's just something that came across my mind. Giving up Allen hurts in order to salary dump Prince's contract, but they got another first rounder to send it to the Rockets to get the deal done. In the Nets' perspective, they still have DeAndre Jordan to man the center spot, and they lean towards small ball lineups anyways. Moving on to the Cavs, I think they did a great job. They essentially sent out a late first rounder for Jarrett Allen. Allen is a good young player who became expendable when the Nets added their stars and moved up their championship timeline. He could be an insurance if Drummond's asking price is too high in free agency, or any one of their bigs could be flipped again. Maybe the Celtics or Hornets could come calling. Currently, they do have a logjam up front, but it's a great sign that the Cavs weren't blinded by the great start to the season. Ixon wasn't a definite keeper, especially with Garland and Sexton having a breakout. Although Prince could be viewed as a salary dump in other perspectives, he could be a useful piece on the Cavs. He could provide some wing scoring and shot creation that Okoro and Osman lacks. Now Prince isn't amazing, and it could be frustrating to see him throw up air balls off the dribble, but he is more experienced as a shot creator than the Cavs' wings. Plus, the Cavs needed a wing depth heading into the draft, and this trade shored it up without giving up much. The Pacers' involvement came later after the initial trade, but we'll cover them before looking at the Rockets. This was a no-brainer move for the Pacers. Oladipo's future with the Pacers has been murky over the past few years. There has been free agent and trade rumors everywhere, even with Oladipo shooting them down. They couldn't reach an extension prior to the season, and the Pacers had a front row seat of how the Celtics lost Gordon Hayward last offseason. They weren't going to lose Oladipo for nothing. The Pacers were able to up Oladipo's value within 9 games, and got back a slightly younger two-way combo guard with 2 extra years on his contract. This is huge for them, since the Pacers already have a lot of guaranteed money, so giving Oladipo big money is going to put a strain on the cap sheet, but it'll also be very tough to replace him if he leaves. LeVert's salary only goes up to $18 million in the last year of his contract, and that's a lot lower than Oladipo's potential star caliber extension. Sure, LeVert hasn't proven himself to be a star like Oladipo has, but he still has time to grow, and the Pacers have an all-star in Sabonis and high-quality starters like Brogdon and Warren to lean on. LeVert has been used in various roles during his career: on the ball, off the ball, 6-man, and even the go-to guy. It wasn't pretty when he was the Nets' first option in the bubble, but that's not going to be his role in the Pacers. As I've said, the roster has a lot of options that'll let LeVert switch between these roles. All in all, the Pacers got a quality young player and a second rounder for a player who could potentially leave in free agency. At last, we have the Rockets. All these unprotected picks seems like a pretty good haul, and they basically have control of all the Nets' foreseeable picks. The Rockets had a tough task to do. they had to toe the line between getting future assets and staying competitive to prevent giving up high picks to OKC in that Westbrook and CP3 trade. Harden was becoming a bad influence on the team, and they finally got him out. Now they got back players who would actually play and help the team, rather than guessing what Harden would do every night. I think the package the Rockets got back could have been better. First, I'll prefer Allen and Prince rather than that late first rounder from the Bucks, but it was necessary due to roster spots and salary matching. Their haul was similar to the AD package, but he had 1 year less on his contract. Harden's extra year should be a leverage, but seems like the Rockets were trying to get him out ASAP. I'm 50-50 on that LeVert and Oladipo trade. Now the rationale is that Oladipo is more established, and the Rockets want a sure thing after trading away Harden. Again, this contributes to staying competitive to devalue their picks to OKC. I do believe in Steven Silas and Oladipo, but the Rockets are putting all their faith into Oladipo's 9-game sample size to start the season. Also, their whole trade package hinges on him returning to all-star form and his commitment to the team. Now I can't fully evaluate this trade for them because of the picks. I mentioned the picks up to 2023 probably won't be much, but those from 2024 will have a huge swing in value. Best case scenario, the Nets repeat the Billy King mistake and their star trio doesn't work out, leading to high lottery picks. At worst, it'll be similar to the Pelicans haul for Drew Holiday. Those picks were valuable until Giannis signed that max extension, which means most of it will be late first rounders. The Rockets also got Ixom and Kurucs, who are decent young pieces. Ixom fits in as a backup point, while Kurucs adds another 3-and-D wing. The thing is, they aren't the sure things the Rockets are looking for, which further emphasizes the Rockets' gamble with Oladipo's performance and commitment. Just imagine how the trade package would look if Oladipo struggles or doesn't resign in the offseason. Their haul for an NBA superstar suddenly doesn't seem too good. I guess another argument is that they got some cap relief and flexibility in the offseason. Oladipo's cap hold takes up a huge chunk of that. In the event that Oladipo leaves, the Rockets could carve out more space with an Eric Gordon trade, but are there going to be high-level talent wanting to join them? This trade does seem like a win for all teams, mostly because they all achieved their goals. Like Cavs added assets, Nets got their star, Rockets got a decent return for the disgruntled star, and the Pacers alleviated their Oladipo questions. I would say the Pacers and Cavs have a slight advantage in this trade, just because of their minimized risks. For a player who doesn't want to be there, the Rockets got a good return, but I also think they took the biggest risks. The whole package hinges on Oladipo and how the picks turns out. If all things goes well, this is a good package. If not, the Rockets basically got back mid to late first rounders, Ixom and Kurucs for Harden with another guaranteed year. Yes, the Nets are taking a risk as well, since they could implode due to chemistry issues, but they got back a guaranteed star level player. If things don't work out, they still have a chance to recoup assets with another trade. Let me know what you guys think of this trade for each team, and maybe some other implications I've missed out. Remember to drop a like down below, subscribe if you're new, and I'll see you guys next time.